Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started with a quick roundup of news in brief. After Republic TV's mega campaign for 12 hours, suspended BJP leader Seema Patra has now been arrested after a detailed FIR was lodged against her. Seema Patra tortured and assaulted her domestic help for 8 years. After undergoing medical treatment, suspended BJP leader Seema Patra has now been sent to police custody till 12th of September. Remember, this comes after she was arrested under multiple charges for assaulting and torturing her domestic help for 8 years. Earlier, we saw how she in fact alleged of being framed in the whole case. After Republic confronted suspended BJP leader Seema Patra, she claimed of being implicated in the matter. Further, she alleged of not hitting her domestic help.
मैडम आपने मारा है, आपने मारा है। नहीं मारा है, नहीं मारा। चोट के निशान है मैडम, चोट मारा है। नहीं मारा, मुझे नहीं पता, नहीं मारा है। आपने घर में रही थी, कौन मारेगा मैडम? आपने मारा है मैडम। कौन?
As Republic confronted accused Seema Patra, she covered her face, alleging of not brutally torturing her house help and saying that it is all a part of conspiracy against her. Meanwhile, JMM MP Mahua Manji, while reacting on the brutal act by Seema Patra, took a jibe at the BJP, accusing them of backing her. Further, she questioned the Prime Minister in this matter.
भाजपा खुद आरोप लगाती है कि तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति है और खुद तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति करती है। आपने देखा होगा कि बहन अंकिता के मामले में भाजपा ने किस तरह से नेशनल चैनल पर बैठकर उन्होंने हमारी सरकार को गालियां दी, जबकि एक और बहन सुनीता खाखा, जो कि भाजपा की एक बड़ी नेत्री के घर में काम करती थी और उस पर जिस तरह से अमानुषिक अत्याचार सीमा पात्रा ने किया, जो कि भाजपा की ऐसी विंग की थी, मंत्री या अध्यक्ष जो भी है, जो कि बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ का विंग देख रही थी और महिलाओं के हित में काम करने के लिए उसको रखा गया था, और वो अपने ही घर में एक आदिवासी लड़की के साथ इस तरह से अमानुषिक व्यवहार कर रही थी।
In a major development in Ankita's murder case, Jharkhand Child Welfare Committee has now recommended the SP to add sections under the POCSO Act. In this matter, the committee found that the deceased was 15 years old and not 19 as mentioned by police in a recorded statement. Amidst the unending face-off, the AAP staged mega protest against the BJP outside the Delhi Assembly in the national capital earlier today. The MLAs held placards and raised anti-BJP slogans demanding nationwide probe in Operation Lotus. Meanwhile, the Aam Aadmi Party tweeted a video of confronting BJP national spokesperson in the national capital. On the other side, BJP also tweeted saying that no development work has been done in the national capital schools. After the national capital, trouble has been mounting for the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab. The Akali Dal has now demanded a probe in Delhi in Punjab's liquor policy. Meanwhile, Akali Dal delegation also met the Punjab government in this matter. As the liquor scam explodes, BJP demanded inquiry in the matter, where AAP alleged that the party has made an attempt to buy AAP MLAs.
दिल्ली में एक पर एक घोटाले होते जा रहे हैं, वहीं दिल्ली में जिनका नाम कहीं महाठग है, महाझूठे हैं, अपनी बातों से लगातार पलटने वाले लोग, ऐसे अरविंद केजरीवाल गैंग कभी भी दिल्ली की जनता के प्रश्न पे जवाब देने को तैयार नहीं है।
And responding to BJP's demand, AAP sought a nationwide probe in Operation Lotus. Meanwhile, AAP said that a delegation of its MLAs will be visiting the CBI headquarters at 3 p.m. in a short while from now.
Yes, we are demanding a nationwide probe into Operation Lotus because Bharatiya Janata Party has already bought 277 MLAs across different states. Add to that 40 MLAs that they were intending to buy in Delhi. And
And latest update on Sonali Phogat's murder case, where we understand that the Haryana police has detained a computer operator who went missing with DVD, mobile phone and a laptop, as well as several key documents. The Hisar police meanwhile is interrogating the man identified as Shivam. Remember, Sonali's family has alleged that Shivam absconded after receiving a phone call after Sonali's death. In a big development, the Goa police, along with the Hisar police and family, reached at deceased Sonali Phogat's farmhouse to carry out investigation in the case. Former J&K Chief Minister Ghulam Nabi Azad will address a rally in Jammu on 4th of September. This will be his first visit after quitting the Congress. Congressman was seen calling out Vadra Congress elections after Ghulam Nabi Azad and Anand Sharma. It's Manish Tiwari now who rejected the fair, who has taken a dig at the Grand Old Party, saying that fair poll claim is a sham, and that he also went on to lambast the fair poll claim of the Congress amid unending political drama in the Vadra Congress. The Jharkhand Police Force and the RAF team held a flag march in Jharkhand's Dumka district. This comes after the girl was set ablaze, succumbed to her injuries. Meanwhile, massive protests were staged across the state against the heinous crime. After BJP MLA JDS leader met with accused seer in Muruga Mutt today, remember, no arrests have been made yet despite the seer being accused of sexually assaulting two minor girls. The Chitradurga Murga Mutt seer accused of sexually assaulting two minors is likely to be arrested today. This comes after the students filed a complaint against the seer. And in more trouble mounting for Mamta's top man as CBI conducted searches across Bengal in connection with the cattle smuggling scam. Sources telling Republic that 62 properties linked to ANUBRATA Mondal was searched by the CBI. Reportedly, 26 properties linked to ANUBRATA's daughter are also under lens. Furthermore, ANUBRATA's confidant and TMC leader is being grilled by the CBI. After several incriminating documents related to jihad and terror were seized from illegal madrasa in Assam, the police raided the madrasa along with recent arrested Hafizur Rahman linked with the Al-Qaeda terror module. The madrasa was demolished today is based on the arrest and interrogation of Hafizur Rahman, who was working as a teacher in this madrasa. And crackdown continues on illegal madrasas in Assam as Himanta Biswa Sarma acted stringently against it. Meanwhile, illegal madrasa has been demolished in Assam. Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel met UPA MLAs in Raipur Resort. As many as 32 MLAs of the controlling UPA coalition in Jharkhand flew down to Raipur by a flight from Ranchi and have been shifted to a resort amidst the political turmoil in the state of Jharkhand. We are told that a few more MLAs from JMM are expected to join the Congress MLAs who are holed up in a resort in Chhattisgarh. A church, meanwhile, was vandalized by two miscreants in Punjab's Taran district. The situation in the state remains tense. However, tight security has been deployed to maintain law and order situation in the district. The Enforcement Directorate, meanwhile, sought information from the West Bengal Board of Primary Education in the appointment of primary teachers since 2011. This is in connection with the ongoing probe into school job scam. The ED, meanwhile, had earlier arrested suspended Trinamool Congress leader Partha Chatterjee and his close associate Arpita Mukherjee for their alleged involvement in the multi-crore teacher recruitment scam. After Karnataka High Court upheld authorities' decision to allow Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations at EIDGAH ground in Karnataka's Hubli, Dharwad preparations meanwhile are underway in the EIDGAH Maidan in Hubli for the celebrations. Republic has accessed a copy of charge sheet in Sidhu Moosewala's murder case. Now, as per the investigation, Goldie Brar was the mastermind of the gruesome killing of Sidhu Moosewala. In view of cases pending against Bihar Minister Kartik Kumar, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar changed his department from law to sugar cane ministry. Meanwhile, Shamim Ahmed has now been made the new law minister in Bihar. Amid threat from terror groups of using PGs as hideouts to carry out terror attacks, the Jammu police has been urging locals to submit details of their tenants to the nearest police station within 2 days' time. Prime Minister Modi, meanwhile, expressed condolences to the bereaved families of Kishtwar accident. Prime Minister further announced an ex gratia amounting to 2 lakh rupees to the deceased kin and 5,000 to the injured. A speeding bus en route Narsinghpur hit a girl in front of a petrol pump, due to which the girl lost her life on the spot. After the incident, the villagers set the bus on fire. The incident took place in Madhya Pradesh.
एक एक्सीडेंट का मामला है। एक बस जो छिंदवाड़ा से अमरवाड़ा तरफ जा रही थी, लहगरुआ के पास में एक बच्ची जो है करीब 20 साल की है, जो कॉलेज में फाइनल ईयर कर रही है। वो अपनी सहेली को छोड़ करके जो है सफ़ेद कलर की गाड़ी में, एक्टिवा गाड़ी है संभवतः, उसमें जो है वो वापस लौट रही थी। अचानक जो है बस के सामने आ गई वो, और बस से टकरा करके मौके पर बच्ची की मौत हो गई।
About 50 Dalit families were allegedly driven out of a village by members of a community in Jharkhand's Palamu district. These families were living in the village for last 4 decades. Meanwhile, a criminal case has been lodged against 12 named people and 150 others. The Jharkhand governor, meanwhile, while taking cognizance of this incident, has expressed concerns. Amid demand for justice for Ankita grows, the NCPCR will visit Jharkhand's Dumka district on 5th of September. Meanwhile, BJP's delegation met deceased family in Dumka earlier today. Amid incessant rainfall in Kerala, farmers in fact wood paddy cultivation completely destroyed. The IMD meanwhile has in fact, heavy rains continue to lash Kerala, and IMD has issued an alert in the state. The repeal of the excise policy in the national capital takes effect as at least 250 private shops with licenses given under the policy are slated to be shut down, as they will now be replaced by over 300 government vans starting tomorrow. With no relief in sight from the incessant rain, several areas in Siliguri in West Bengal experienced waterlogging as normal lives came to a complete halt. In a massive disclosure in connection with a terror threat case, as per sources, the IP address turned out to be of Pakistan. Earlier, the IP address was traced to UK. Aspirants of Bihar Public Service Commission protested against the percentile system in all the examination centers. Protesters claimed of no transparency in the system while gathering at the prohibited area near Patna Museum. To maintain law and order, police personnel resorted to lathi charge as well. Meanwhile, Congress is set to announce poll promises today in Shimla. Remember, Anand Sharma's name was not there in this list. Now, Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel, Sachin Pilot among others have been mentioned in this list. Telangana Chief Minister KCR met Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar in Patna amid discussions for national politics. On national politics, it is also likely that Nitish Kumar will pay a visit to the national capital in the coming days. And NASA will be making a second attempt on September 3rd to launch its new moon rocket on a test flight after engine trouble halted the first countdown this week. And Mikhail Gorbachev, who has the last leader of Soviet Union, in fact lost battle to a crumbling empire but produced extraordinary reforms that led to the end of Cold War, has died. Gorbachev won the 1990 Nobel Peace Prize for his role in ending the Cold War and spent his later years collecting accolades and awards as well from across the globe. And in more international news, about 100 people gathered outside South Carolina State House. The South Carolina House appeared ready to vote on a new total ban on abortion with no exceptions for pregnancies caused by rape or incest, as Democrats joined with the chamber's most conservative members to keep the bill as restrictive as possible. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden forcefully defended the FBI as the agency and its employees have come under criticism and threats of violence since executing a search warrant at former President Donald Trump's Florida residence earlier this month.
Let me say this to my MAGA Republican friends in Congress. Don't tell me you support law enforcement if you won't condemn what happened on the 6th. For God's sake, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? You're either on the side of a mob or the side of the police. You can't be pro-law enforcement and pro-insurrection. You can't be a party of law and order and call the people who attacked the police on January 6th patriots. You can't do it. What are we teaching our children?
Meanwhile, Ukraine President Zelensky said that the situation around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant remains highly threatening after meeting with International Atomic Energy Agency Director. Zelensky again reiterated that immediate and complete demilitarization is the need of the hour. A Russian ambulance crew was killed in a collision with a fuel tanker and another vehicle in the Yaroslav region as well. According to the Russian state media, the ambulance was rushing to an emergency when the tanker driver allegedly lost control and hit the ambulance. We are told that the ambulance caught fire and crew of 3 with 2 female paramedics and male driver were pronounced dead at the spot. Jurgen Klopp opened up on the struggles to sign a midfielder and hinted at the decision by Aurelian to turn down Liverpool in favour of Real Madrid and also the unavailability of the club's prime target, Jude Bellingham.
We always wanted, but it was always about the right one. And we cannot change that just because of some things. Yes, more interest, but that can change a little bit, and then you would say, okay, but we can do it now, we can do this now, and maybe that would help us then next year as well, these kind of things. It must always be short and long term. And this didn't happen yet.
Fourth seed Paula Badosa of Spain had to come back from a set down to beat veteran Lesia Turensko of Ukraine in 2 hours and 32 minutes in the first round of the US Open on Tuesday. FIFA chief Gianni Infantino made a stop at Guatemala at his Central America tour to promote the participation of women in soccer. He insisted that clubs should make more women's teams and also talked about the importance of qualifying to Women's World Cup.